हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Friday. It is 5th of September. It is Bhadra Masa or Krishikesha Masa, Sukla Paksham and Trayodasi Tithi. So today the event is appearance day of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakura, fasting until afternoon. Just I shall read a few lines from the special Vaishnava days, which I have shared in the group. So today is fasting till noon. For the sake of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in a gratitude mood and humble and devotion. So to respect all the instructions Bhakti Vinod Thakur has given to all of us, which are to be practically can be practiced in our life. Okay, so he is the spiritual master of Srila Gaurakishore Dasa Babaji Maharaja and the father of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. He sent the first English book in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, The Life and the Precepts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to the McGill University in Canada in the year of Srila Prabhupada's birth. And thus, he is accepted as the father of book distribution in the West. He has given us many wonderful poems and songs to help us understand Krishna and spiritual life. For example, Jai Radha Madhava, Shri Gaurarati, and the Prasadam prayers, Sri Vidhyajala. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written in his Kalyan Kalpaturu, O Jahnava Devi, be merciful to this servant today. Deliver me from my pain and give me a place in the boat of your lotus feet so that I can be sure to cross over the ocean of birth and death. You are Nityananda's energy, your devotion to Krishna, and my Guru. Please give me the servant the desired tree of your lotus feet. How numerous are the fallen souls that you have saved. So this fallen beggar seeks a place at your feet. The Mahajana Krishna Das, in his song, which begins Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan, has prayed for Jahno Devi's mercy after glorifying Krishna's name, abode and associates. Remembering Jahno Devi's lotus feet, the lowly Krishnadas sings the names of the Lord. So in this way, this is the mode of Bhaktivedanta Thakura. So today is fasting and he has given, so all these Narottama Das Thakur, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, so their poems and kirtans, they're full of Vedic knowledge. They're not simply songs, they're full of devotion and Vedic knowledge embedded within those poems and kirtans, inclusive of jnana, vairagya, bhakti, and the mood, humbleness. That's why we sing all the glories of the kirtans of our acharyas. So otherwise, we do not, even though very beautiful to hear some movie songs, we do not sing unless we know the author. So just like these are like these kirtans, simply as much good as Vyasadeva's scriptures. Okay, so that is the event's perspective. So today is the Parents' Day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So for today, we shall move to our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the demigods are offering their prayers to the Supreme Lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So because they could not function their activities without the mercy of the Lord. ये ते देवाः कलाविष्णोः कालमाय अंशलिङ्गिनः नानात्मा स्वक्रिय अनीशाः. Anishaha means unable to do it because of nanatva swakriya. Pratuhu pranjalayoho vibhum. They're keeping their hands folded together. Anjalim pranjalayo vibhum. They're offering their praise to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So far we have seen around 6 shlokas of the demigods. They're all targeting only the lotus feet of the Lord. and only this is called Sharanagati. So I recite again, just stressing the prayers again. Namama te deva padaravindam prapannatapopashamata patram yenmulaketa yatayenjasoru samsarudhukkam behrutshipanti धातर्यदिस्मिन् भविष्य जीवाः तापत्रयेनाभिहता न शर्म आत्मन् लभन्ते भगवंस्तवाङ्घ्रि छायां सविध्यमथ आश्रयेम मार्गन्ति यत्ते मुखपद्मनीडैः चन्दः सुपर्णैः वृषो विविक्ते यस्यागमर्षोदसरिद्वरायाः पदं पदं तीर्थपदः प्रपन्नाः यश्रद्धया सुतवत्या च भक्त्या समृध्यमाने हृदयेऽवधायाम् ज्ञानेन वैराग्यफलेन धीरा व्रजेम तत्रिङ्गिसरोजपीठम् विश्वस्य जन्म संयमार्धे कृतावतारस्य पदाम्बुजं ते व्रजेम सर्वे शरणं यदीशा स्मृतयं प्रयच्छति अभ्यां स्वपुंसम् यत्सानुबन्धे सतिदेहगेहे ममाहमित्युडधुराग्रहाणम् पुंसां सुदूरं वसतोऽपि पुर्यं भजेम तत्ते भगवन्पदाब्जम् padabjam, the lotus feet. So in every shloka, this padabjam, the lotus feet, padam bhujamte, and tattengri, and padaravinda, tirthapadaha prapannaha. So everything they are targeting only the lotus feet. We are taking, Dhruva Maharaj says, the devotees who are surrendered, he mentions, तस्यापवर्ग्य शरणं तव पादमूलं विस्मृते कृतविदा कथमार्तबन्धो. A devotees, how can they will forget the lotus feet of your lotus feet, my dear Lord? See, he was mentioning, this is who are all tasyapavargya. Apavargya means who wanted to free from all the material entanglements, the clutches, which are tied them to all kinds of different bondings. They will never, na vismrite, vismrite krutida katamarta bhandho. How can they will forget? So likewise, so here demigods are, it is the mood of demigods to surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. In the yesterday's shloka, they were mentioning, and people who are all in the material entanglements, yatsanubhande sati deha gehe, mamahamityuda dhuragrahanam, this is my home, this is my family, this is my child, this is my daughter-in-law, this is my son-in-law. Everyone has got so many things. This is called mamahamityuda dhuragrahanam. Of course, we have got all these things, otherwise we cannot function the homely activities. We cannot do anything for the family members unless we are in such kind of mood. That is actually by the mamaham, this is mine. If we do not have that kind of conception, we wouldn't have staying in the home. We might have taken the path of the spiritual realization completely. So this is called the mamaham. So that is people who are in mostly absorbed in such kind of activities, but some are carrying out their activities, but internally they are surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhavagrahi Janardana. They carry out duties as a matter of duty, not because of. So sometimes we would see activities are going on, but the consciousness keep changing. Sometimes in the beginning it is like a mamaham. Later on it is not mamaham. It is like a matter of duties. Later on it is for the sake of Krishna. So this is internally it will change. Outside activities may remain the same, but internally it would change. This is called Krishna consciousness. But people who are observed still staying in that level, mamaham, then they cannot see the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is in the heart of all the living entities. Pumsam sudoram vasatopi puryam. The Lord even he is in the heart. Pumsam sudoram, for them he is very far. Vasatopi puryam, still he is in the heart. Bhaje matate bhagun padabjam. Likewise, demigods are, their mode is surrender, saranagati. And today further, demigods are saying, again they're condemning the activities of the materialistic people because of they all absorbed in the sense gratification and asat means which is not permanent. They are engaged in such a way they could not see the Lord internally in their heart. And whereas devotees who have taken the shelter of lotus feet, they can see it because they always hear Krishna Katha, they understand, associate with the devotees. So in such a way, they are glorifying lotus feet of the Lord again. So this is the seventh shloka, glorifying the lotus feet. Okay, we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 5, and verse number 45. तान् वैश्यः तृप्तिभिक्षिभिर्ये पराहृतान्तर्मनसः परेश अतो न पश्यन्ति उरुगाय नूनम् ये ते पदन्यासविलासलक्ष्याः तान् वै Tan, so far we have been discussing about the lotus feet. Whenever there is a tan means the lotus feet of the Lord, it is directing to the previous shlokas, whatever it is described. Tan, the lotus feet of the Lord. Tan way certainly he for asat ruttibihi. Asat is the materialistic activities. For asat is the materialistic ruttibihi by those who are influenced by the external energy. Asat vrittibihi, akshibihi, by the senses, ye those, parahrutaha. Parahruta is the missing at a distance. Parahruta and antah manasah, antar manasaha. Antar manasaha is the of the internal mind. And Paresha, O Supreme, Visha is the Lord and Para is the Supreme Lord. Para is beyond this material universe. Para. We use Paramanam and like many other things. Paramatma and Paresha. Isha is the controller, Paresha is the supreme controller. O Supreme. Ato na pasyanti. So Ata is therefore na pasyanti. They cannot see those lotus feet. Than. Na, ato na pasyanti. They cannot see because asatruttibhihi akshibhirye. They are infected with the materialistic activities influenced by the external energy of the Lord. Asat Vrittibikshivirye. Asat Vrittibihi Akshibhirye. Parahrutantar Manasaha Paresh. Ato na pasyanti, they cannot see. Urugaya, O great one. Urugaya, a person who performs the great activities. Gurukrama. And here, yesterday we have seen Vamanadeva, his Gurukrama, the greatest wonderful activity. Urugaya, whose activities are glorified, wonderful activities. Gaya is the singing. Uru means great. A person who performs greater activities and devotees sing those activities. Urugaya, Nunam, Nunam, but Yede Padanyasa Vilasa Lakshyaha, those who are very interested to hear your pastimes. Padanyasa activities, Vilasa, transcendental enjoyment. Lakshyaha, those who see. And for them it is possible, but other people it is not possible. They cannot see those lotus feet in their heart. Only devotees can see the lotus feet of the Lord in their hearts. तान्वैहि असदृत्ति भिक्षिभिर्ये पराहृतांतर मनसः परेश अतो न पश्यन्ति उरुगायनोनम एते पदन्यास विलासलक्ष्याः. So translation for this shloka. O great Supreme Lord, offensive persons, those whose internal vision has been too affected by external materialistic activities, cannot see your lotus feet, but they are seen by your pure devotees, whose one and only aim is to transcendently enjoy your activities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here it has got 3 paragraphs. Can I request Saranya Mataji to read first 2 paragraphs? Third paragraph, can I request Gayatri Mataji for the third paragraph? Okay, Saranya Mataji.
Hare Krishna. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.61, the Lord is situated in everyone's heart. It is natural that one should be able to see the Lord at least within himself. But that is not possible for those whose internal vision has been covered by external activities. The pure soul, which is symptomized by consciousness, can be easily perceived even by a common man because consciousness is spread all over the body. The yoga system, as recommended in the Bhagavad Gita, is concentrate the, the mental activities internally and thus see the lotus feet of the Lord within oneself. But there are many so called yogis who have no concern with the Lord but are only concerned with consciousness, which they accept as the final realization. Such realization of consciousness is taught by Bhagavad Gita within only a few minutes, whereas the so called yogis take continuous years to realize it because of their offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. The greatest offense is to deny the existence of the Lord as separate from the individual soul or to accept the Lord and the individual soul as one and the same. The impersonalist misinterpret the theory of reflection and thus they wrongly accept the individual consciousness as the supreme consciousness. Hare Krishna.
One more paragraph, Mataji.
The theory of reflection of the Supreme can be clearly understood without difficulty by any sincere common man. When there is a reflection of the sky on the water, both the sky and the stars are seen within the water. But it is understood that the sky and the star are not to be accepted on the same level. The stars are parts of the sky and therefore they cannot be equal to the whole. The sky is the whole and the stars are parts. They cannot be one and the same. Transcendentalists who do not accept the supreme consciousness as separate from the individual consciousness are as offensive as the materialists who deny even the existence of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Gayatri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Such offenders cannot actually see the lotus feet of the Lord within themselves, nor are they even able to see the devotees of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord are so kind that they roam to all places to enlighten people in God consciousness. The offenders, however, lose the chance to receive the Lord's devotees. Although the offenseless common man is at once influenced by the devotee's presence. In this connection, there is an interesting story of a hunter and Devarshi Narada. A hunter in the forest, although a great sinner, was not an intentional offender. He was at once influenced by the presence of Narada, and he agreed to take the path of devotion, leaving aside his hearth and home. But the offenders, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, even though living amongst the demigods, had to undergo the punishment of becoming trees in their next lives. Although by the grace of devotee, they were later delivered by the Lord. Offenders have to wait until they receive the mercy of devotees, and then they can become eligible to see the lotus feet of the Lord within themselves. But due to their offenses and their extreme materialism, they cannot see even the devotees of the Lord. Engaged in external activities, they kill the internal vision. The Lord's devotees, however, do not mind the offenses of the foolish in their many gross and subtle bodily endeavors. The Lord's devotees continue to bestow the blessings of devotion upon all such offenders without hesitation. That is the nature of devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Pad ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is describing from the Bhagavad Gita shloka. So the Lord, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord is situated in the everyone's heart. Ishvaraha sarvabhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati. Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudhani maya. So yantra rudhani. This body is like a vehicle or mission. But Lord is Ishvaraha sarvabhutanam. He is the controller. Sarvabhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati. So he is sitting in the heart of all the living entities. Brahmayan sarvabhutani. Brahmin causing to travel sarvabhut, all the living entities. Yantra rudhani maya. It is a mission. So the body is like we have got a spiritual body. We have got a spiritual body. If we take one clear glass, on top of that, if we just do some white paint, on top of it, we just paint some kind of different color, orange color or green color, and finally it becomes very dark. The clear glass, it becomes very dark later on. Similarly, the spirit soul, it is very clear and pure. On top of it, one layer is the mind, intelligence, ego, and the contaminated consciousness. On top of that, these five panchabhutas elements, they are covering that at the moment. That's why we cannot see our spiritual bodies. That is Swarupa. Until we come to that point, until we understand that we are covered by this material body and subtle body, we cannot see the Lord. That is called Antaramanasaha. So here, it is natural that one should be able to see the Lord at least within himself, but that is not possible for those whose internal vision has been covered by the external activities. And because of this, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajo Guna Samudbhavaha. Krishna says, because of he has got deep desires, and then he is absorbed, this is me, and I wanted to enjoy. I have got this day to fulfill, and I have to make my senses happy. Likewise, he always engaged because whose internal vision has been covered by external activities. This is Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajo Guna Samudbhavaha. And the pure soul, which is symptomized by consciousness, can be easily perceived even by a common man because consciousness is spread all over the body. So this is we can understand as long as there is symptoms. Jiva Shreshtaha. And so there is one particular shloka. It is described by Kapil Bhagwan. जीवा हि श्रेष्ठः अजीवानं ततः प्राणभृतः शुभे ततः सचित्ता प्रवराः ततश्च इन्द्रियवृत्तयः and out of all the entities so which are jivaha shreshta hi ajivanam and which have got the life they are better than the which are lifeless jivaha shreshta hi ajivanam tatah prana brutah shubhe and out of those which has got the life, the symptoms, the prana, tataha prana bhritaha shubhe, tataha sachitta pravaraha, and later on consciousness, tataha sachitta pravaraha, tatascha indriya vrittayaha, later on the senses, and tatrapi sparsha vedibhyo pravara rasa vedinaha, and later on sense of touch. So it is the gradual of uh, the sound and also the rupa and then having the living entities they gradually go and then finally it comes to the varnashrama dharma living entities or who are in the varnashrama dharma that is the human beings out of human beings not everyone are following varnashrama and some are understanding out of that brahmana out of that who understands the vedas and then who can explain and then who can follow who can renounce this material world who are surrendered to the supreme personality of god that is the way of levels of consciousness. This is pure soul but symptomized by the consciousness. Otherwise there are living entities like avruta mukulita vyakulita vikasita purna vikasita. This is the consciousness. The living entities like the trees and plants, they are avruta, they are covered. They cannot experience too much pains and pleasures. Mukulita, that is the Avrita, Mukulita, a little bit better than them are small living entities which are moving. They can experience pain. As soon as if we touch small kind of insect, it will just receive so much of pain. And that is second level. Avrita, Mukulita, Vyakulita. A little bit some other living entities, they even react and then try to defend themselves. Vyakulita, Vikasita, they counteract like human beings and try to understand and carry out and plan their activities properly. And then Purna Vikasita, the transcendentalists who understand that they are not the body, they are consciousness or the spirit soul. So that is the Purna Vikasita. This is levels of consciousness. They can be easily perceived even by the common man because consciousness is spread all over the body. The yoga system was as recommended in the Bhagavad Gita is to concentrate the mental activities internally and thus see the lotus feet of the Lord within oneself. So here in the Bhagavad Gita, we got all the yoga systems are the one is the karma yoga, connecting to the supreme through our materialistic activities. Of course, this is called karma yoga by performing the activities and the following rules and regulations as per the Varnashrama Dharma. That is karma yoga. And further is the jnana yoga, gaining the knowledge, and then a dhyana yoga, meditating on the lotus feet, and then bhakti yoga, transforming all our activities only for the sake of the pleasure of Krishna. That is bhakti yoga. Then one can see the lotus feet of the Lord within oneself. So this is what Brahma in his prayers he mentions. ये तु त्वदीयचरणाम्बुजकोशगन्धं जिघ्रन्ति कर्णविवरैः श्रुतिवातनीतं भक्त्या गृहीतचरणः परया च तेषं न पैशिनादहृदयाम्बुरुहास्वपुंसम् ये तु त्वदीयचरणाम्बुजकोशगन्धं जिघ्रन्ति कर्णविवरैः श्रुतिवातनीतं भक्त्या गृहीतचरणः परया च तेषं न पैशिनादहृदयाम्बुरुहास्वपुंसम्. And people who are hearing the are smelling the aroma from the lotus feet of Lord through their ears. And the Lord is always permanently situated in their heart. He is not separated from them. Okay, so that is Bhakti Yoga. Devotees who are engaged in that highest yoga, they only can taste that smell, taste that sweetness, or hear those beautiful words of the lotus feet. That is called aroma. Jighranti karna vivraihi sutivatanitam. But there are many so-called yogis who have no concern with the Lord, but are only concerned with the consciousness, which they accept as the final realization. This is Aham Brahmasmi. I am the Lord. Likewise, they think. So this is, they do not have Lord in their concept. Of course, that is also one of the one level of the transcendental realization. So it is better than the materialistic people. But he has got still so much distance to go to the Lord. Such realization of the consciousness is taught by Bhagavad Gita within only a few minutes. Whereas the so-called yogis take continuous years to realize it because of their offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is again in the Brahma Samhita, it describes about the munis. They are even the millions of years, they are just meditating on that, but they cannot reach the Supreme Lord. But whereas this is described like Vedeshu dhurlabham adhurlabham atma bhakto vayoratapi manuso munipunghavanam sopyasti yat prabhasimni avchinchitatpe govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Vayo manaso, this is that is very beautiful shloka described. Vayo ratapi manaso munipunghavanam. They cannot reach even the munipunghavanam, but they're always mental speculating. They cannot reach so many years, continuously years to realize it because of their offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord. And the greatest offense is the Avishuddha Buddhayaha, whose intelligence is not purified. Yete Yenya Arvindaksha Vimuktamaninaha Tvayashta Bhavad Avishuddha Buddhayaha Aruhya Kuruchen Param Padam Tataha Patantyadaha Anadruta Yushmadangarayaha. Anadruta Yushmadangarayaha. The Anadruta is the offense. Yushmadangarayaha at the lotus feet of the Lord. So they deny the existence of Lord as separate from the individual souls, or to accept the Lord and the individual souls as one and the same. So this is once again Paratma, Jivatma, Paratma. It is the same thing. Likewise, they have got one kind of conception. So this one, it is described here. Again, once again, it is very important thing. We number of times we see here this particular shloka. So here, Paratma Jivayoraikyam Mayatra Pratipadyate. Shankaracharya mentions, he describes that as part of the Mayavada philosophy. that Paratma Jivayor Aikyam Mayatra Pratipadyate. So what it is to me, Paramatma. So in this Mayavada philosophy, I have described the Jivatma and Paramatma to be one and the same. This is called the illusion. In such a way, Shankaracharya has described. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statements where Prabhupada is describing here. And then whoever hears this Mayavada philosophy, here he says, Lord Shiva says to Parvati, see, this is confirmed in the Padma Purana that Lord Shiva tells Parvati that Shruti Devi Shruti Devi Pravakshami Tamasani Yatakramam. O Parvati, listen how I have spread this Mayavad philosophy. Yesham Shravana Matrena Patityam Jnanamapi. If whoever hears this Mayavad philosophy, Patityam, they will fall down. Jnanamapi, even though they are knowledgeable persons. Jnanam api. So nowadays we have got so many people, they are preaching some kind of Bhagavatam or some kind of Purana, some kind of, one person speaks in all kinds of Puranas. What is the purpose? He wanted to show himself or he wanted to help the community? They do not understand. That is called Yesham Sarvanamatrena Patityam Jnanamapi. If we just, this is called Tamasani Yatakramam. Apardam Sutivaktyanam. They give misinterpretations to the Vedas. Purpose of Vedas is the only one, to know the Vedesh Sarvair Ahameva Vedjo Vedanta Krud Ved Videva Chaham, only to know about Krishna. But they give different meanings. Apadam Sutivaktyanam, Darshaya Loka Garhitam. It is condemned activities and descriptions. Karma Surupa Tyajyatvam Atra Cha Pratipadyate. I have expanded that karma swarupa charjati. One has to give up all the activities. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, yajna dana tapah karmam natyajam, that those are yajna dana karma pavanani manishinam. It will purify one when they are engaged in the devotional service. But here, karma swarupa charjatvam atra cha pratipadyate. This is how Lord Shiva has expanded. So he is telling that. And sarvakarma paribhramshan naishkarmyam tatra chochete paratma jivayor aikyam maya atra pratipadyate. So this is how he has spread that Paramatma and Jivatma, they are one and the same. That is Mayavada philosophy. So this is people who are contaminated, who deny the existence of the Lord. They think that to accept the Lord and individual soul as one and the same. The impersonalists misinterpret the theory of reflection, and thus they wrongly accept the individual consciousness as a supreme consciousness. The theory of reflection of supreme can be clearly understood without difficulty by any sincere common man. When there is a reflection of the sky on the water, both the sky and the stars are seen within the water. But it is understood that the sky and the stars are not to be accepted on the same level. There are very on the top, sky and the stars on the top, but we see only the reflection. Similarly, the soul, we are different from the body. We are seeing only the body and our activities. These are external things, but internally, we have got a spiritual body that must be perceived. So the stars are parts of the sky, and therefore they cannot be equal to the whole. The sky is the whole, and the stars are parts. They cannot be one and the same. Transcendentalists who do not accept the supreme consciousness as separate from the individual consciousness are offensive as the materialists who they even who deny even the existence of the Lord. So they are offensive as the materialist who deny the even existence of the Lord. If there is something, everywhere there is a controller. Similarly, if there is a car can be driven by a driver. Driver is there. Likewise, the body is there and there is a driver within the body. And similarly, this gigantic universe is there. The Lord is also present within this universe. That's why all the activities are going on. Seasons are changing, time is changing, yugas are changing, and so many things are happening because of the presence of the controller. That can be accepted by who is a sensible man. And here further, Prabhupada describes, such offenders cannot actually see the lotus feet of the Lord within themselves, nor are they even able to see the devotees of the Lord. This is sometimes we may be asking some questions. Some people are engaged in materialistic, they do not understand why Prabhuji like that. Is it ignorance or is it passion? Is it bodily concept of life? So now we need to reflect at what age we are asking these questions and what age we were also in the similar kind of shows. It is a personal reflection. This is what I have experienced by myself. I was also engaged in the materialist activities, not coming nearer to the Lord. But now, once I come to the devotional services and associating with the devotees, I am getting so many questions. Why other people are not coming? But actually, I was also not coming before. Now I am coming now because my reflection is different. Because we have come in association with the Lord, we are able to see the Lord. Previously, we were not able to see the Lord. It was called Lord's external energy is covering in two different dimensions. One is throwing illusory energy, another one is the covering illusory energy. Throwing illusory energy means just they are coming, they do not come nearer to the Lord or devotees. They're always very busy engaging like the economic development, sense gratification, like that. And my country, my body, my village, my home, they're always busy. They do not even hear about the name of the Lord and the devotees of the Lord. That is called throwing energy. And covering illusory energy, even if they are nearer to the Lord, they cannot understand that Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and devotees are trying to preach Krishna consciousness. So here, the devotees of the Lord so kind that they roam to all places to enlighten people in God consciousness. जनस्य कृष्णाद्विमुखस्य देवात् अधर्मशीलस्य सुदुःखितस्य अनुग्रहयेह चरन्ति नूनं भूतानि भव्यानि जनार्दनस्य. So they're always wandering to give Krishna consciousness to everyone who are Krishnadvimukasya, who are not interested to come to Krishna consciousness. Devotees, they wander and trying to catch them. And this one is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was spreading this Hare Krishna movement, many people were turned. Some people escaped very far throughout this world. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioning, my Sena Bhakta will come and try to chase all those people who have run away from this Sankirtana movement. He will go and chase and catch them and give the Krishna consciousness. It was the people, devotees. They are so merciful. The offenders, however, lose the chance to receive the Lord's devotees, although the offenseless common man is at once influenced by the devotees present. So these offenders lose the chance to receive the Lord's devotees. That is, again, it is the association is so great. It is described so many of those glories are there. But who are offenseless, they are influenced by the devotees' presence and they will progress in their spiritual life. So in this connection, there is an interesting story of the hunter Narada and hunter and Devarshi Narada. So once this is the hunter, he used to kill all these kill these animals, and then sometimes even he asks his children. So look in front of his child whenever he is half killing the animal, and then this animal is it was in so much pain, and his child is crying, and looking his child's crying, he is laughing. Likewise, it is kind of it was in the mode of ignorance. It was in the mode of ignorance, but however, it is not intentional. So he was not an intentional offender. But even though he was living in the forest and a hunter killing the animals, but he was not intentional offenders. So this is most of ourselves. The devotees, they have engaged, but it was not intentional. These are the people coming to Krishna consciousness. Chaturvida bhajante mam janaha sukritunu arjuna. This is the four kinds of people. Atto ardhadi jnasu jnani cha bharatarshabha. Four kinds of people. They are not intentional offenders, but they are appear like they are also engaged in materialistic activities. They are not intentional offenders. That's why he was at once influenced by the presence of Narada. So devotees are influenced by the people or influenced by the devotees. That's why we have before that we were not devotees, but came in contact with the devotees now. became devotees now. And he agreed to take the path of devotion, leaving aside his hearth and home. That's why we can understand what is the power of devotees association. But similarly, where Nalakor and Madigriva, they are enjoying in the Bhogeshwari Prasaktanam. So because of those things, enjoying in the sense gratification, even though devotees come together, so they are even they are living among us demigods, but had undergo punishment of becoming trees in their next life. So later on, they were delivered by the Lord. So somewhere or other, they have come across Narada Muni, even though they are offenders, but still they are associating with the devotees. But later on, sometimes there is one beautiful pastime happened in the France. One of the Krishna consciousness devotee giving books to everyone and distributing, and in the train she was giving, and later one of the person sitting there, he was a banker, and then she tried to give, and then he took that book and then tried to spoil it almost, and then he has pushed that girl from the train as well. She was hurt, and later on she was taken by other devotees, and then after so many days she was recovered. But later on the person who has almost spoiled that book, and then he has took that book home, and then so he has kept in the kitchen somewhere, which is a broken book, and then later on he has mentioned to his wife, and then his wife also having funny things what he has done. So it was kind of offense, but later on the maid servant in that home, she looked at that book, and then she made it very nice that she thought that it is an accident, and kept it in that library where he could see later on. But after few months passed, and then his wife, she died due to some disease, and also his children become addicted to drugs, and they also left, and then now he is alone. He could not tolerate this loneliness, and he was about to die. At the time, he wanted to read some book before he was died, and then trying to look at the book what it is there, and then try to see that first he read first page, and then second page, and then third page, and then he did not even go to the office for a few days. So he had completed all these things, and after that he has seen the address on the book. What is that? It is mentioning the some France address, but actually he belongs to Spain. And then he called that, and they have given the Spain temple address. And then he went to the Spain temple there, and then trying to understand. He wanted to give some kind of donation there. I wanted to help. So you can do some kind of donation or do whatever you want. And then he has taken few more books, and then later on, gradually his attention got increased to what these people are saying. So because everything he has read the book, Srila Prabhupada's book, and then gradually he has absorbed, and then can I participate in full time in this one? And then he was given a chance to participate because he was a banker. He was given in charge for the treasury. Later on, Sankirtana moment. Later on, he came across to that girl in Italy where he has pushed that girl from the train, and now he has come there. And then when he has seen her, and then he was begging, so like sitting in front of her, and then asking for forgiveness. And then she said, "That's all right." Devotees, they do not take care of, they do not care about the offenses. But here, how the transformation has happened, even though he is offensive initially, but later on, the transformation has happened. But here, Nalakur and Manigriva, even though they were offenders, because association of the devotee here, in the moment, they became pure. They have come across the Lord later on in their lives. So offenders have to wait until they receive a mercy of the devotees. So this is how it happens. And then they can become eligible to see the lotus feet of the Lord within themselves. But due to their offenses and their extreme materialism, they cannot see even the devotees of the Lord engaged in the external activities. This is one thing very, very important. Seeing a devotee of the Lord is the most auspicious thing in the life. Of course, we devotees see it, but other people, they do not understand this tulaya malavena pinas purgamna apnas bhavam bhagavad sangi sangasya machanam kimutashashaha. So this is again mentioning by Saunakadi sages, a moment of devotees association, it is not even comparable to the liberation. So engaged in the external activities, they kill the internal vision. The Lord's devotees, however, do not mind the offenses of the foolish in their many gross and subtle bodily endeavors. So this is again described by the so whenever Krishna says to whom this Bhagavad Gita is to be given, na bhaktaya, na tapaskaya, and at any point of time, one should nacha asusurushave. One should not give this Bhagavad Gita to anyone who are not engaged in the pious activities, not the devotees, and abhyasurive, who has got enviousness towards Krishna. But devotees, they're more merciful, trying to give even to such kind of people the books, even though sometimes they act in opposite way. Devotees are merciful. So there are two angles again. Krishna also mentions that when the people, materialistic people, engaged in their activities and sense gratification, we should not disturb them in such a way that they will be disgusted. Krishna also mentions in the Karma Yoga third chapter of Bhagavad Gita like that. And in the 18th chapter, he also mentions that na bhaktaya, na atapaskaya, and whoever has not done any austerity and no penances, that we need to understand whether he is a prospective devotee or not. Understand whether he is purely absorbed or whether he has got any good qualities to hear and receive the people. That we need to understand and try to give the Bhagavad Gita knowledge. They are not conflict, but it is the mercy of the devotee of the Lord. And also try to understand the opposite person, what kind of mood he is in, whether he is receiving. So just by whether he is offended or not, but initially some people may pretend that they are devotees and interested, later on take the books and then later throw it in the bins, some books. But so at least if we take little bit of remuneration, £1 or 10 pence, even 50 pence, something like that, they will retain that book. For that is kind of a gesture for their interest. If I just give books for freely, then they may take it and throw it. That's why somewhere or other we need to receive a little bit of respect from them towards that books, either a little bit of service or something, then they will retain it. Okay, so that is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord's devotees, however, do not mind the offenses of the foolish in their many gross and subtle bodily endeavors. The Lord's devotees continue to bestow the blessings of devotion upon all such offenders without hesitation. That is the nature of devotees. Okay, like Srila Prabhupada giving the knowledge to this entire world, wandering in the Western, throughout the world, in fact, throughout the world 14 times in that age. That is the nature of the devotees. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Here, demigods are glorifying the devotees and also mentioning about the activities of the materialistic people, why they can't see the lotus feet of the Lord in the heart. तान्वैहि असद्वृत्तिभिः अक्षिभिर्ये पराकृतांतर मनसः परेश अतो न पश्यन्ति गुरुगाय नूनम् एते पदन्यास विलास लक्ष्याः. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. It's a long purport. Shall move to the Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today letter to Sivananda, November 12th, 1970, Bombay. It is a small letter only. Can I request any unallocated devotees to read this letter? Okay, any devotees, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, please go on.
My dear Sivananda, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 3rd
13th September, and letter dated October 18th. Due to traveling and so much work, I was not able to answer you sooner. I am very happy to hear that you are once again in Berlin. When you first went to Germany by yourself, I was praying that Krishna would help you in every way to establish a center there in Berlin. Now you have done it by the grace of Krishna. Berlin is one of the most important cities in Europe and is one of the gateways to the communist world. And since your temple has a central location with good room space, everything is set for our preaching program. It is a good sign that the Berlin people are receiving our Sankirtana so well that with only one other devotee you have distributed 100 magazines in an afternoon. Yes, on Sankirtana we want everyone we meet to go away with a magazine and having heard and chanted Hare Krishna mantra. That will be the sign of success. Please have Mandali Bhadra's mother help you in every way possible. I think she is well acquainted with Berlin and she can render good service. So give a start to our Krishna consciousness movement there and that will be your success. Now you have a nice German devotee wife and together you should give all the people of Germany the example of how husband and wife can be engaged for the service of Krishna, not in the service of their senses. The two of you, along with Such- Suchandra and Gunai, should lead a nice regulated daily schedule of chanting 16 rounds, reading all our books, going on Sankirtana party, and taking nice prasadam. Then this will keep you pure and potent in your preaching work. I have received your Vyasa Puja offering and it is very nice. Please offer my blessings to the others. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Any takeaway points, Mataji, from this?
Prabhupada wants Sivananda to going in. He's in the Berlin, so open. And there is a center. It's a nice uh, city in Europe. So the main things is preaching, and then he's when they go to the Sankirtana party, distribute the magazines and preaching about the Krishna consciousness. And he's very happy that you now have a German devotee wife, so husband and wife can be a good example for the people to engage the service that service in the Krishna consciousness, not in their senses. So you can go both and together with they said along with the Suchandra and Gunnar, they can go in the daily service and then chanting the 16 rounds and preach Krishna consciousness. So yes, Prabhupada is main things is telling the preaching with the Sankirtan and then spread the giving the magazines and books. So and yes, taking the good prasadam like so the Yapro devotees and the party and taking nice prasadas like giving the preaching work, good preaching work and Krishna consciousness. And he's happy to receive the Vyas Puja offering. So yeah, we can give that spiritual masters and that with the Vyas Puja on this day. So yes, brother, that's a takeaway for the preaching the through the books and the Sankirtan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for nicely reading and summarizing. Any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to highlight that is touching to your heart? What is essential? Gayatri Mataji, wanted to share anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji, I'm just understanding, Prabhuji, the letters and all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. Here in this one, Germany, it is one of the uh, European countries where we see most of the intelligent people are there. If we see the Trump, his grandfather also from Germany. Many people are from Germany. In Germany, they have got because they understand it is called Aryan civilization. And they follow this Vedic injunction. They read Sanskrit as well as part of. We have heard such kind of things. So if we preach to them, it will be easy. They can absorb Krishna consciousness. So this Hamsadatta, Hemavati, those Mataji and Prabhujis, they were spreading, but it must be executed properly. And they have established how to preach in the Germany properly. Every village and every town is properly constructed in proper distances in proper way. But if we just preach this one properly, then everyone will be turned into Krishna consciousness. But it will be easy for them to, because they are also followers of Bhagavad Gita. I think we hear from Srila Prabhupada that Hitler, he used to read Bhagavad Gita, something like that. They were inspired, and there were so many other things, but main thing, they wanted to have Aryan civilization. They do not want any less Indian people in this country. That is what we see, and the technology is more advanced as well. So that is the Germany. But Prabhupada wanted to preach Krishna consciousness there. And then how it is possible very easily when there are families are there, grahasthas, husband and wife, executing and so happy like that, when other people will also be inspired. But here, in order to inspire that one, so one has to follow rigidly the schedule of chanting 16 rounds, reading all our books, going on Sankirtana party, and taking nice prasadam. This will keep you pure and potent in your preaching work. That is the power. That is the potent in your preaching work. But if we do not chant 16 rounds, we cannot ask other people to do it. And then that way, it does not work. First of all, we must be pure and reading all our books. We must have knowledge. Otherwise, we cannot ask other people to buy books and then read it. First of all, we need to read our books, all our books. And also going on Sankirtana party. We do our Sankirtana in our home and in our temples along with the devotees, and then experience. And then we give the Sankirtana to the entire world. Then they are, because we have tasted it, and that's why we are trying to ask other people to taste it. And also nice prasadam. We need to keep ourselves pure by taking only the prasadam, not which is offered to the Lord. That way, we keep ourselves pure and potent while preaching Krishna consciousness to the others. Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. And also appreciating the spiritual master for his work. And then, so in such a way, we receive the blessings. It is not new thing, so we have to acknowledge whatever the spiritual master is doing. So when we are doing Vyasa Puja to our spiritual masters, do how we have come within the spiritual path by the mercy of the Lord, by the mercy of the spiritual master. Okay, so that is, please offer my blessings to the others. That is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. Okay, that is. And from the announcements point of view, so today is Friday, we don't have any activities in our Sangha. And tomorrow morning, we continue our Bhagavatam and then Shri Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita, so far only 3 shlokas have been discussed. It is very beautiful subject matter. The subject cannot be discussed directly, so, but we have crossed so many things like discussing about Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, later on Vaikuntha planet. Now we are discussing Goloka Vrindavan and Krishna's abode. It is not ordinary topic, so it is elevated topic. And dear devotees, you are all chanting properly, following all the related principles. Please try to get this one. If you cannot to attend, it is not possible. Try to get it into the YouTube as well. Okay, so this is the planned activity. We have been longing for so many months to discuss this Brahma Samhita. So, and this is also Goloka chart. It contains all these descriptions. When you get a chance, go through thoroughly. This is what our destination is, Gatihi, our ultimate end. After finishing off this human life, that is our destination. To know about our destination is very important. Okay, so that is Sri Brahma Samhita. Tomorrow morning it continues. Tomorrow evening, Chaitanya Charitamrita continues. Okay, this is our regular updates. And dear devotees, if you have got any updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Okay, there are no updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण कॉन्शियसली एवरीवन जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर